The Pokemon Mega Dimensions trailer has been sending the Pokemon community into an absolute frenzy thanks to these Mega Stones that you are seeing in front of you. There has been so much speculation. I don't even remember the last time that I saw this much. Maybe for the starters for Pokemon Legends ZA, but I'm really excited to kind of break down my thoughts on them, and I would love to hear from you guys as we go through this. But there's at least 11 new ones that people have picked out from the trailer that showed off Mega Raichu X and Y. Oh, excuse me, that's coming to Mega Dimensions here, the DLC that's expected to maybe come out even in December. Hey guys, I'm Rob, this is Haus, and we're going to be going through all of those today. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the great Pokemon Legends ZA, Gen 10, Pokemon Champions, Pokemon Pokopia, the newest game that's expected to be coming out, all that kind of stuff here at Haus. But let's get into it. So there are 11 of these Mega Stones that were shown at some point during the trailer. So, you know, as they're all coming in, the whole thing is that there's these Mega Dimensions. These are the ones that are currently, at least, unaccounted for. And what I mean by that is, you know, I think a lot of what's coming out right now is that nobody expected or knew Mega Raichu X and Y were going to be here. And that's because the leakers only had access to Pokemon Legends ZA and like some sort of alpha or beta form, something that was, you know, that had come out from the Terra leaks, which we've known about now for about a year. This is right around the time I think the Terra leaks were really starting to release. And there was just a lot of speculation as to if this was real or not. And it led us to these, sorry, I always get the freaking ad right there, but, love using this website, but there are 26 new megas, or at least that's what is anticipated. You know, these are the ones that are expected to be coming out here for Pokemon Legends ZA. And so when we were able to get Mega Raichu X and Y for this DLC, which was rumored, there was a rumored DLC that they were working on, it has just led to a flurry of just, I don't know, everybody's brains are going crazy trying to figure out what are these other Pokemon that are going to be coming out. Because if Mega, you know, Raichu X and Y are real, then these DLC, or at least this one DLC for Mega Dimensions, will likely have more. And I'm going to just straight up say there is a chance, I don't think it's likely, but I do think that there's a chance that Mega Raichu X and Y might be the only ones that we're going to get. And so I guess, yeah, all this is, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about these real quick, and then I'm going to give my opinions on which Pokemon I think that these could be for. But I'll start with, I think there's a chance that those are just the only two Megas, and that the dimension form, like, or the dimensions, right, are going to be where we get some of the other former Mega Pokemon that maybe just didn't fit the story as well the first time around, right? Like, we haven't really seen Mega Mewtwo X and Y yet. You know, we haven't seen, we've only seen Charizard. There are rumors that maybe Venusaur and Blastoise are going to be, you know, in this DLC instead. That there's just going to be a lot of Mega Pokemon that aren't going to make it into Pokemon Legends ZA, but instead we will get them in Mega Dimensions. And for a lot of people, right, I mean, it's been 10 plus years since some of these Mega Pokemon graced our games. You know, this will be their first time being able to get them. And I could totally see, you know, Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, Nintendo, whoever you want to blame it on, making a DLC that's just going to add those two new ones, and it's going to allow us to go get, you know, different, you know, legendary Pokemon like Koopa, you know, Volcanion, stuff like that, along with these other Mega Pokemon. Now, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong on that, but I think that there's a very good chance that that could happen. You know, we've even seen, you know, with, what was it, with Sun and Moon, right? I can't remember if it was only an Ultra Sun and Moon or not. I did not play those games very much, so forgive me on that. But, you know, you had the portals that you could go through to get all of the other legendary Pokemon. I'm hoping that they don't make this Mega Dimensions DLC like that. I want it to be a more fleshed out DLC. Now, the last couple DLC have been much more fleshed out, right? They really have been. I felt like the Teal Mask was actually a pretty decent story. I actually really enjoyed that DLC. It did feel like the area was a little bit small. They could have made it a little bit bigger, but then, the Blueberry Academy and everything with the Indigo Disc, I thought was really good. The Isle of Armor and stuff like that, right, with Sword and Shield were actually, pretty meaty DLCs as well. So, like, I'm hopeful that this is going to be more. There are rumors that this is going to be like another version of Lumiose City, or that we may even be going into another city or town within Kalos instead, and that will, be dealing with the mega, rogue megas and everything there. So there's just a lot of possibilities with this. And with that, there is still the possibility, right, that these are all going to be new Mega Evolutions. There's a theory as well that depending on how many they would put in to this game, I think I saw Soul Silver Art was doing the math essentially, and I can't remember if it was just these 11 or if there were a few extra ones, but like they'd essentially get up to 100 different Mega Evolutions, which is unbelievable considering where we started, right? But they keep adding them and people love them, so I don't see why not. But this is where my first opinion that I don't think people are going to like comes in, and I have this distinct feeling that these Mega Stones that we are seeing might be for some of these Pokemon. Okay, some of the Megas that have not been revealed. Right now we're being told by a lot of the leakers that, and they did say it on this trailer, but that this was the final trailer. We were just getting, Mega Victory Bell, Mega Dragonite, Mega Hawlucha, and Mega, brain is farting, where are you at? Mega Malamar, right? Those were the 4 that we were getting, plus we just got, Mega Greninja, Delphox, and Chestnut. So, those 7, right, are the only ones that are currently confirmed. Now, we know Mega Scrafty is coming. We know Mega Starmie is coming. We know Emboar, Feraligatr and Meganium are likely coming. It's probably all of these at some point are going to find their way out there in this game. Now, what I am concerned about is that, we haven't seen them officially. Pokemon acts like none of us know anything what's going on with the leaks. They act like those don't even exist, essentially. They don't care if they exist because, to be clear and to be fair to them, most people don't know about the leaks. Most people don't seek them out. I have a friend who is intentionally not seeking out leaks so that he can really enjoy the game. Honestly, if I was a person who was not covering this, right, for this channel, for the Game House in general, I probably wouldn't be seeking them out either, right? Because I like the excitement that comes with some of these new things. To be fair, though, I love that people do enjoy seeking them out. I don't know. I have such a battle with myself on whether or not I actually enjoy doing, like, the actual leaks of games because, there's not as much excitement sometimes for me. And then when things get end up proven right and then I know about them ahead of time, it does feel good too. So, I don't know. Weird existential crisis there. Doesn't matter. But, like, I do think that some of these would match up pretty well. Like, this one could very easily be Mega Clefable. Right? That wouldn't surprise me at all. This purple one could easily be Mega Starmie, right? Then we've got this one here. You're telling me that couldn't be Mega Meganium? Like, that would honestly make a ton of sense to me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really down here. We continue on. Like, that one looks very similar to what I would expect Pyroar to look like, or maybe even Scrafty. Oh, sorry, that's giving away something. But, like, I could see Scrafty maybe being that one. That blue one could be Mega Frostlass or Mega Feraligatr. I would assume there'd be some red in this if it was Feraligatr, but you guys are starting to see my point here. There are a lot of these, like, this one could very easily be Mega Excadrill, right? There is the chance that most of these Mega Stones are actually for the Pokemon that we just haven't had revealed yet. And I think a lot of people would be upset about that. But conversely to what I had said at the beginning, even if that is the case, that doesn't mean that these Mega Pokemon are not going to there's not going to be more Mega Pokemon in the Mega Dimensions DLC. What would be disappointing is if we don't actually get these 26 in the main game, and instead, like, only half of them are in it, and some of the rest of these, you know, like, I mean, tell me that's not potentially Mega Dragalgage right there. Like, come on. Like, there's absolutely a chance that's the case. What would be disappointing is if those Pokemon were locked behind the DLC. We have all been, you know, those of us who have been looking at leaks, those of us who have been talking about them, we have all really been expecting there to be 26 Mega Pokemon, and now I'm just not really fully convinced that these are the 26 that'll actually be in the game, and instead, you know, like, even this could be Mega Chandelier, to be honest. But sorry, I keep getting distracted. But either way, like, that would be really disappointing, right? And then that some of these are just kind of locked behind there. So we will have to see. If that's not the case, I actually really liked this one. So to give it away a little bit, these are, somebody went through, and I think that these are some of the more realistic potential expectations for the Pokemon that could get added. You know, I think when looking at this pink one, like, I'm not really sure that, you know, they're going to go with Wigglytuff. I mean, they just gave Jigglypuff Screaming Tail. I don't know if that would be the case, but it's possible. Gliscor would make a lot of sense there. Carnivine, Haxorus, I could potentially see it. I think Talonflame seems very likely. I think, you know, the Krokorok, the Crocodile, you know, line could totally make sense. Cramorant, they seem to love Cramorant. Yeah, it was one of the first Pokemon Unite, which was hilarious. Clauncher, I think, would actually make a ton of sense for this one as well. I hate to say it, but I really do think Flygon would match up almost perfectly with this one. Barraskewda would be interesting, but possible. Crabominable would be pretty fun. I think Swalot would be cool too. So, like, I could totally see them adding this. I think, you know, the more Gen 6 Pokemon that we get, the more likely that these are, right? Like, that's why I think these two would make a whole lot of sense personally. But, you know, you guys can see it. The speculation is rampant, and I don't blame anybody for wondering, you know, what are these Mega Evolutions? What are we going to get? And it's been such a fun topic of conversation to see over the weekend. I wanted to just take some time and really think about it, kind of parse through everything myself, and let you guys know kind of what I'm thinking. If I had to put money down on it now, if I had to make a bet, I do think that they are going to be new Megas. I really do think that we'll get the 26, right? That would kind of line up with what we've seen with X and Y, with Oros. I think that would make a ton of sense. Like, there's no way we aren't going to get at least Meganium, Feraligatr, and Emboar. So there's 3 more. That gets you up to 10, right? We're definitely going to get Starmie and Scrafty. So that's 12 of them. That would leave 14 Megas. I think we'll get Mega, Eternal Floette as well, because it's a part of the story. Mega Zygarde, I believe, is part of the story as well. So that would get us to 16 Pokemon. That would leave 10 spaces left of the Megas that have not been revealed yet. And there's 11 here. So I do think it's more likely that we will get new Megas. I think Flygon fans, your time is come. It is very possible that we will see Mega Flygon finally get the love that it deserves. It would be absolutely hysterical if it was not it, because at this point it would just really and truly show that Pokemon does not care at all about what we want or our opinions. They're going to just make their games, and we're either going to like them or not. That's just kind of how I think they've operated for a long time at this point. But shout out, by the way, to Pokios. I love this website. I think it's just this little screen here specifically, I think is just really, really cool, and it's a great way to track everything. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Which theory do you think is most likely? Again, I still think it's very likely we will get new Megas that have not been announced. That would just make too much sense for them to just get people really hyped to want to go get that new DLC, and we all know Pokemon wants to sell it. We've got so much Pokemon content coming out after such a huge drought, man. I mean, we've got like basically 4 new games coming out in about 13 months, right? We've got Legends ZA, we've got the rumored DLC, well, not rumored, but the rumor that the DLC is coming in December. I know it's not a separate game, but either way, Champions rumored to be coming out in January. Probably Gen 10 getting announced in February, and then Pokemon Pokopia coming out in the summer, and then Gen 10 releasing next year in November. Just such a great time. Us Pokemon fans are eating good after starving basically outside of Pokemon TCG Pocket, for the last couple of years here. So, just kind of get yourselves ready. There's so much for us to go over. I'm really excited to be a part of it. So, yeah, that is going to wrap it up for us on this one, though. So, from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.